course of the last 3 months, being digitally literate is something I've become competent at. Everything is connected, which is crucial to understanding and being digitally proficient. There are so many different theories and speakers out there about the importance of technology, but I will be going over some theories I think are key points to reflect on. Digital literacy is important in our everyday lives in the future, but one needs to be able to read, work screens, and understand the connections that come with digital literacy, and know the outcomes to articulate digital literacy as a positive asset in our lives. Kevin Kelly talks about how we are headed toward a screen ubiquity, which, in all honesty, is accurate. Most regular activities in the past didn't need a screen. Now you see everything being screenified, for the lack of a term. For instance, books are now being read onto digital devices such as Kindle or Nook screens. Finances are now dealt with online accounts, and buying is now only a click away. Even children now can't avoid screens as they play on different game devices for entertainment, watching movies, and learn through some type of screen. To be digitally literate, one must also be screen literate. You need to be able to navigate what you see on the computer. Everything has evolved over the years, and as Kelly talks about it in his Becoming Screen Literate article, news in the past has been passed on by word and has evolved written word down. Written word was still not good enough, and technology has revolutionized into written word typed on online that you now read off a screen. As Kelly says, a new distribution and display technology is nudging the book aside. People are now reading books, sharing pictures, and looking at screens all the time. It is now instinctual to us. I have been coached on technical terms and ways about technology, as if I was learning another language. I've evolved over the years just like technology has over the last 100 years. I started by learning how to speak to others, and progressed on how to write, which has then evolved to typing and then using only a fraction of the computer's capacity. As years pass, I've been able to make videos, digitally manipulate photos, share my knowledge through my blog and articles, and communicate to people all over the world. My progress is a slight comparison to how technology itself has advanced. As an amateur computer user, I have smaller profession than others, but seeing what has been created because of technology is incredible, and allows me to strive for more than to be more than an amateur. The next generation will probably learn how to be digitally literate at even a younger age. Realization that technological literacy is important during the century is a step many are adapting to. More and more people are using technology in their daily lives, from counting the steps taken in a day with a Fitbit or sharing their Fitbit goals reach on social media platforms is just one of the many ways technology is integrated in our lives. Throughout this semester, I started a blog for the first time. Our inspiration for our blog topic was based on personal preferences on topics we were knowledgeable on. I chose to do a travel photography blog, which in my opinion is a remix. Now, Kirby Ferguson defines a remix as to combine or edit existing information to produce something new. You may be wondering why I call my blog a remix. It is a remix because it's a blog about my tips about travel and information on technical terms on photography. I choose to create a new blog that combines both already reviewed topics and my point of view of travel. To understand what is being created out in the world is an important step to being technologically literate. Now, my blog isn't just words that I type up each week and send out. It is more. My blog is my weekly posts, the way I can link topics I talk about to other websites and blogs. It is my viewership that has, and having it affect people besides my immediate social network. My digital literacy has grown as I've learned to use different applications to promote my blog. I've become a Twitter user that tweets about reliable, relatable topics. Now, David Silver talks about thick and thin tweets. My goal is to tweet thick tweets to fire silver. Tweets that convey two or more layers of information. Because I want to post content that has hyperlinks to offer other routes of sources to information that in just my blog, alongside my blog, I learned how to use other applications hand in hand with Twitter as an asset to spread word about my blog and share articles that relate to topics in my blog. Applications such as Pocket and Site are just a few of the hundreds of applications that offer cross interactions with other sites. I believe that knowing how to use these sites and keeping up to date with newer and improved versions is being digitally literate. Digital literacy is an ongoing learning process. I know that my future depends on my knowledge of literacy, not just directly but indirectly. It is very important to know what I send out into the web because it stays there for everyone and anyone to see. Mona Lewinsky makes a great point in her presentation on the TED Talk, to think before we click. Now, she was talking about how social media negatively affected her, but I applied it to my future job. There were multiple horror stories of company Twitter pages being accidentally confused with personal accounts. Knowing how to switch from personal profile to company profile is an aspect of being digitally literate. We are digitally literate because we enjoy the outcomes navigating through social media platforms. I know it's a coveted skill among the older generations because it is now becoming a necessary skill in many jobs. I want to be prepared for future employers, and to do so, I must have the ability to be digitally literate. It is the future of most jobs, and it's important to be able to be part of this technology. I grew up with technology, but those who are just jumping on that bandwagon, they need to be able to do their research. Discussions about to be technologically literate is important. You are participating in an online participation. If you know how to do it, you can translate into real power, according to Ringgold, which is very true. Some participation may include, but not limited to, being able to tweet for a company or share images of special events or promotions. There is a demand for that in many jobs now. Participation is power to those who choose it to advance and help others. Yes, people use technology to bring destruction, but you need to realize technology is not evil. It is the way it's being used and how people in the past people in the world have used it. Digital literacy is a skill that's supposed to improve and help people. I've learned how to use this skill throughout the past semester, and I will continue learning. Thank you very much for listening to the end.